There are a few things I'd like to focus on here. So we're talking about fixers and hackers, two of the grassroots community workshops, organisations. I want to put this pretty complicated slide up just to say that it does have relevance to, real relevance to what we're talking about. And essentially what it shows is that for a product, for example, there are various options you might use during its lifetime. Here you've got things like repair, maintain, reuse, redistribute, resell, refurbish and manufacture. The things that I'm going to be talking about just now are very much to do with this inner circle of the circular economy. It's about repair, it's about maintenance, and it's about reuse. Now this is an area that certainly in legislation, amongst a lot of important sort of decision makers, is an area that really has been very much neglected in the past. But we believe, as Martin touched on, it's one of the most exciting, most promising areas in being a more sustainable society. Essentially, the further you get away from the user on this diagram, the more leakage there is of energy, of resources in the product life cycle. These are mobile phones, and I want to put this up because I think this is an important part of the motivation for people wanting to repair stuff. Last year, about 1.8 billion mobile phones were manufactured globally, and the average mobile phone is replaced after about 18 months. Now, in order to, that represents a significant loss of resources if that phone is not being, reused or recycled. Every time a phone is broken down and the bits taken out, precious metals, etc., you're wasting a large element of that. You're certainly wasting a lot of energy. So being close to the user and repairing and maintaining is better than disposing and buying a new one, essentially, or recycling it. But this is an example of hacking for social purpose. This is in India, and there are a couple of examples from a very exciting organisation called Frugal Digital that are producing things like on the left. This is using local stuff that's manufactured and waste from the European Union to make a device for assessing whether people should go to hospital, stay in bed, or be rushed, or they're absolutely fine, depending on what illness, if they're ill. And the one on the right is using sort of waste product to produce a projector in sort of remote schools so that they can see parts of the world that otherwise they wouldn't have access to. Touched on hacker spaces and the sort of extraordinary growth in hacker spaces, which again are community workshops, people coming together to make stuff, to interact with software and hardware. There were only 20 in 2005, over 1,000 today, and this is just a few examples of hacker spaces around the world. And so this one here is a hacker space that specifically looks at biology and hacking. So there are people that do DNA sequencing in their kitchen sink, and share the results of that and look at sort of, biological experiments. And, Austin, Texas, which is a brilliant one, Cairo hackerspace, hacked like an Egyptian. I really like that strap line, so they're up there. Too much detail, but why do you participate in the hackerspace? So, it's about learning, meeting people who share their own interests, being intellectually stimulated, learning new skills and sharing skills, collaborating together, whilst also wanting to do stuff for themselves. Let's look at repair cafes now, over 700 around the world. There were only 500 in March last year, so they've grown by 200 in that short. What sort of stuff goes to a repair cafe? And this is globally, all the repair cafes have a chance to answer this. Lots of small electrical appliances. Clothing, bikes, lamps, lighting, DVDs, CD players, textiles, oven clothing, toys. It's a big list of stuff. Predominantly it's the sort of stuff that people can carry and take to a place to be repaired. So there are no things really that are too big to walk into a church hall and say, could you help me repair it? A vast array of things are being repaired. Inbuilt obsolescence. So there we are. Print is the real Voldemort product in terms of inbuilt obsolescence, according to people who attend repair cafes. but a lot of microelectronics and tools, mechanical, electrical, they tend to break down. So yeah, we put our money where our mouth is, and we've got a great repair cafe in Farnham. This is one of the flyers for the last event. It's a partnership between CFSD, UCA and Transition Town Farnham. It was launched in February. We trialled it towards the later part of last year. It meets second Saturday of each month, apart from August when everyone's on holiday. And we have, a lot of repairers from the local community. Some of them are retired people, with backgrounds in electrical engineering. We have a textiles person who she still runs a successful business teaching textiles and so on, but used to be sort of theatre costume maker, if that's the right terminology. And over 2 events we had about 100 people come, and over 50 kilos of waste. We weigh everything and document everything that comes in and goes out, has been diverted from landfill as a consequence of the repair cafe. Bikes, furniture joining next one, laptops, computers, mechanical, electrical, electronic, textiles, these are all sewing machines, and it's going great guns, and we think everywhere needs one.